Hey everyone, and welcome back to Citywide Blackout, your home for music, movies, and more. I'm your host, Max Bowen, and joining me now to talk about his brand new project, Only Child, is on the line. Welcome to the show, man. It's great to have you here.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so there's a lot to dive into here. This, of course, is your very new project. Folks probably know you best from the band All Eyes on Me. But I want to start by asking just kind of what led you to do this new endeavor.
Mostly it was I don't know if it was I would say born out of necessity, but it came from just I had a lot of songs that I had written, some of which felt like more appropriate for a band, some of which were more personal to myself. Being in a band is great. Obviously, it's amazing to have collaborators and people to show, and many of the collaborators are the same. I'm in a band with my two really good friends, Susanna Barron, and Mary Lee Desmond. And Mary also made the Only Child music video with me. So the collaborators are the same. I still work with a lot of the same people. It's just kind of like one more avenue to put songs out under.
Very cool. Would you say the sound is very different? Because I haven't heard All Eyes on Me before.
Yes and no. I think that the songwriting kind of stays the same. I would say All Eyes on Me because we're really like a vocal band. There's three vocalists in the band. We work a lot on our harmonies and our our vocal arrangements. That's definitely something I brought to the project. Like there's always a lot of voices in my songs, and vocal arrangements and harmonies and stuff like that. I guess the difference is it's mostly me singing as opposed to three people in the same way. So
Yeah. What would you say is different about the creative process? This is just you, basically, right?
I think that the way I write songs it is a little different for Only Child. I'll say over time and just through I always use kind of songwriting as an introspective type process to kind of check in with myself, maybe kind of talk about the things that I wouldn't normally talk about on not necessarily publicly, but just kind of maybe if I would say there's things I don't want to say to people, I will write a song about it as opposed to that. So I think that through the lens of and that's been kind of just how I've always written songs. I've always written songs with this eye on personal relationships, whether they are, positive or negative or complicated or I feel like there's just always something to unpack. And that can lend itself to this kind of heightened sense of I would say emotion or melodrama in some way. And I wanted to do something that was a little bit more fun in regards to songwriting. I didn't necessarily feel like there was a lot of fun in All Eyes songs. And that really does I feel reflect more of who I am as a person. I feel like I'm kind of silly. I have I really enjoy looking at things even when they're sad or even when they're serious through a with the lens of humor. I think almost everything is funny. So I feel like that was something that was more just kind of more of the entry point for me of this project was looking at things with or maybe not taking them as seriously, although the title of my EP is called SRS ONE, so that's kind of
It sounds like a bit of a contradiction there, though, right?
yeah, but that's okay. That's what I like to work with usually.
You mentioned earlier about how music is a way of checking in with yourself. Do you feel like you've been able to kind of grow a lot as a person, kind of through the songwriting process?
Yeah, definitely. Like I think it helps me articulate myself and my emotions in a way that I wasn't, again, I think maybe like I wasn't always comfortable doing so. Like I'm pretty introverted, and I found that, like, when as I started getting older and navigating, like I said, like different like interpersonal relationships, that I felt a little like, I guess I would say, like stunted at times. And so when I tried to deal with these emotions, I felt like I needed an outlet to express myself that was not like available to me, unless I wrote it down or I wrote a song about it. So that's definitely helped me grow, I think, and sort of be able to express myself a little bit more, because I do have some of the words and the language written out or practiced expressing. I don't know.
I get you. I get you. I imagine that, there are other artists out there that you count among your personal friends. Are the people that you can like bounce ideas off of when it comes to songs?
Yeah. So like I said, even though I'm putting out music like by myself and playing the songs by myself, the collaborators really haven't changed. So I still show my All Eyes bandmates a lot of my music before I would put it out there. We still like play, at one point there would be times when I would like be practicing with them, and we'd like play like four songs, take a break, and then I'd play four songs for them that were like my own songs or just songs I hadn't played or practiced yet. And I do love showing them, just like what I've been working on. So those are, like I said, Mary Lee Desmond, Susanna Barron, my good friend, and then also our really good friend, Casey Desmond, who produced some songs for All Eyes, and that kind of led me to working with her for this EP. So I also send a lot of my songs and song ideas to her, and we send stuff back and forth sometimes, because I'm a big fan of her music. So
And really, who isn't? I mean, like Casey Desmond, I think it's kind of hard to find someone in the Boston scene who doesn't know who she is. How the two of you meet, though?
um, so we went to high school together. Actually, all of these people that I talked about are my friends from a very young age. They're people I went to high school with. So yeah, we're all from Weymouth, Massachusetts, which is on the South Shore of Boston. So we went to Weymouth High. I know I met Casey and Sue when I was a sophomore in high school. So you know, we had some classes together, and we just became friends, and we've really grown up together and are still really close, which is like really amazing, actually, because I don't know, a lot of people, don't always stay in touch with people you were friends with from such a young age, and it's really kind of unique. I feel like, to our friend group, we're still all really close.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. What's it like working with Casey as the producer for your music?
It's wonderful, honestly. I feel like making the type of music that I made, I always I always had friends um that were like amazing musicians and amazing um collaborators and producers and stuff like that, or knew how to record in ways that I didn't, um when I was first starting out, but they didn't necessarily share the same like sensibilities in terms of like songwriting or influences. And so I think that, especially when I was starting out, I would I'd produce, or I'd make a song with somebody, and it would be like however I wrote the song would be how we'd record it, right? And then which is pretty standard. And I've always felt like I've known how I want my songs to sound like, but I don't always necessarily know, or over time I learned how to make those things happen for myself. But Casey, what's different about working with Casey is she really has a perspective on the songs, that is informed by this, like, again, like a pop sensibility, which is, you know, definitely the wheelhouse that I'm working in with my songs. And so she'll, you know, say things like, oh, this chorus is amazing, you need to like have it two more times, and like extend, you know, things that I wouldn't necessarily, you know, my songs can be pretty succinct. And I don't always like to repeat myself, but she'll just be like, this part is so good, why wouldn't you want to repeat it way more times? And so that was really great for me. Or like, you know, when we were working on Don't Call Me Baby, she was like, oh, these, you know, this like idea of the phone motif, the calling. So I actually like called and left her voicemails on our phones, and she used that as the in the song. Like there are tracks of me that actually come from a real voicemail. I like left her just sort of these like overwrought messages, and she chopped them up and put them into the song. So like ideas like that are really fun to me, and make the song so much more three-dimensional in terms of the concept and the execution. So working with someone like that who has you know, like a perspective on songwriting, uh as well as like know how to make me sound how I want to, you know, release the song is amazing to me. So
Oh yeah, and I feel like she would also be a lot more honest with you than someone that you just like didn't know.
yeah, definitely. I'm trying. I'm thinking back. There was actually this time when we were working. I think it was like on an All Eyes song, and I was like contribute. You know, I think I was doing like some vocals or something, and it wasn't a song that I had written. It was a song that Mary had written, and I was trying to do a few things, I think vocally, and she just was like, this is not working. I was like, okay. And then I tried something new, like more of like a call and response, which is very much like the All Eyes type thing. And she was like, that's what we need. And I was like, all right, perfect. So yes, we don't pull punches with each other. But she's also really supportive. So I feel really comfortable trying things out and sending her ideas and everything like that. So
Mm. Plus the experience that she kind of brings to bear, I think, on any musical project, coupled with the fact that she's gonna be that honest with you, I don't think there's anything to kind of regret with the final project.
no, I'm really, really super proud of the EP we made together. I think the songs sound amazing. It's always like really like a treat for me to like hear what she comes up with, and sort of like some of the things that she'll sort of bring out in my own songs that yeah, so it's like a whole hearing the song a whole new way or for like a first time. So certainly, yeah, is an amazing experience, and I'm really like I said, I'm really proud of the songs that we put out. So I'm sorry that we haven't put out yet, the song we put out, and the songs that are yet to be released.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about that first song, Don't Call Me Baby. This was released back in late August, and I really, really love the sound of it. It was so just like vibrant and alive. But subject-wise, this one is really personal. I can definitely tell this one's all about realizing someone that you've been really like focused on just isn't all that great. Any personal experience that kind of ties into this?
Oh yeah, so many.
Okay, I'll just settle in here.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think just like obsession in general is a thing that is comes up really frequently in my songs. Personally, like I said, and you know, it's not always like, you know, it's not all, it's rarely positive, I guess I'll say. I'll put it that way. You know, to be too obsessed over someone. And I think that yeah, it's just kind of like something, and it's also like truthfully like not always appropriate, right? Like so like it's not a good thing. It's not that's why, like I said, it tends to work better in like a song form than it does in real life. So I read a quote once from a singer that I really liked that said like, you know, the perfect place to or the perfect like emotional place to write a pop album from is like when you're in love with someone that doesn't love you back. And so I think that that is okay. And like I think again in real life, like you have to accept that and move on. Like it's not cool to obsess over someone that doesn't like you back or whatever. But it does seem to lend itself for songwriting. So you get it out that way, and then that way you're not like a creep or a stalker, right? So uh that's kind of, what's worked for me. And I don't stalk people anymore. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that's really good to hear, actually. It's a really like
Yes,
positive
yes,
development, I think.
yes. So that's no, I wouldn't do that. That's super creepy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But the thing is, we've all been there. I think we've all had that person or persons, in my case, where we have just been really focused on them because we want something to happen. But from their perspective, it's just never going to happen. And it's tough to kind of realize that too.
Yeah, that definitely. And I think that the more it's happened to me, the quicker I've been able to get over it, which is good. And then I think, like I said, and kind of like bringing it back to the song is like you realize like at one point it's like it's more of like the obsession talking than it is the real life experience. Cause like it's like, what do you want from that person that they're not, whatever willing to give you? And then if you get it, which, has happened in my life, you're like, oh, this is totally different than what I imagined. This is not like the experience I was like romanticizing in my head or obsessing over. So like because we live in the real world and we live in real life. And that's again, your expectations don't always pan out how you want them to, and that's okay. But I think songwriting is a place where those, romanticizations can stay that way and they can be a little bit of that fantasy come to life in the song, uh, or see it pan out in the song. Um, so yeah, I think that that's kind of like where Don't Call Me Baby lives. It's more of like this like wake up uh and don't call me baby if you're gonna betray me, to quote the song. Yeah.
Nice, nice. How about the sound? Do you think this sound is going to be like the only child sound, or are you still kind of working that one out?
um that yeah that's like tough to say. I feel like I wanted to put these group of songs together in this first EP because they do have a lot of like similarities in terms of like sonics. But I don't know that that's always going to be the sound rather that my songs will sound like as Only Child. You know, I think that like bare bones wise, yes. I use the same tools to write songs still. I think that the things that I'm working on now in terms of songwriting and sort of recording, which is like still in very early stages, are a little bit more like organic sounding. But I've always appreciated the mix between the two. Like I write most of my songs, especially, when you're working as a solo artist, like, like in the box, like on, a digital audio workstation. So that lends itself to a certain, type of sound. And then when things shift a little bit, the more you collaborate with people. But I think that, my voice is my voice. I think that, that's still going to be a forefront of a lot of the Only Child songs. And that's something like I've worked on for a long time to get to sound how I want it to sound. So that is going to kind of stay the same. And, these sort of like I said, these like wistful romantic feelings are always a part of the songs. And yes and no, I guess would be the answer to that question.
I want to ask about your vocals because you have a great singing voice. Are you all
Yeah,
self-taught?
thank you. Yes, I am. Um, so I it's funny, like I, I think that probably like one of the hallmarks, I guess, of only child. Like when I first started singing and writing songs, I would uh like I said, I would record myself singing a lot. I would record my demos, whether they were just like me and an acoustic guitar, or then over time, like, more involved in terms of like demos. And that is like, if you want to sing, that's definitely like the best advice I would give, is just to record yourself singing and see what sounds good and see what doesn't. And for this project, what really kind of I think changed my vocals or changed my voice more from what I was doing, because when I first started, even when I sang like in a band, um I always sang very quietly. I would all yeah, so I always I used to really struggle to sing like over a drummer and over the rest of the musicians in a band. And then actually at at some point I I actually started like singing karaoke more. um and that really changed my voice and really opened up like a new way of singing that was so much more powerful, honestly, live. So I think just like singing songs that I wouldn't have normally sing because I didn't write them, right? Was like a really interesting way for me to expand as a vocalist. And it really opened up my voice, and where I was able to find like a much more like powerful presence. And whether that was like because I wasn't focusing on singing and playing at the same time, and I was able to project my voice more, or just, learning, like, again, just even things like which key my voice sounded better singing in. Musically, I really was able to find like so much more range, so much more of like an opening up to my voice. And that is more the voice now that I sing in when I play live or when I write songs. And it's changed a lot of things for me for the better, I think.
It is hard to picture you as being quiet because your personality comes through a lot in the music and in the video too. And one of the things that I definitely thought is this guy must be like a fun person to hang out with because you're so expressive.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that that's something I've worked on a lot for this project. And I think, like I said, I hope it comes through. Like, I want it to sound really fun and really bubbly. Yeah, but I think that that's also, a little, I don't know, like, I don't want to say it's like a persona, but it is definitely it's definitely only like one part of me. Because like I said, I am um pretty introverted. I like, I really like to read and do quiet things at home for the most part. Like uh, um this weekend, is just, I have no plans, and I'm not hanging out with anyone, and I'm like, this is great, this is amazing. Like, I just, I have, like I said, I obviously have very close friends and friendships and things that I find very helpful, but I also, I need I need some downtime, and that's where a lot of this, work for this project will also get done. So,
Mm.
both things are important.
Oh, definitely, definitely. But I want to talk about karaoke because you brought that up, and I feel like
Yeah.
we have to dive into this.
Okay.
What do you like to sing when you're doing karaoke?
I'm a huge Fleetwood Mac fan. I'm a huge I love, so my go-to song, like when I don't know what to sing, um is Gypsy, the Fleetwood Mac song. And that is, I actually cover that in shows. I've made a cover of it like in the only child style that I play in, because I just love to sing it so much. And it I feel like I've like been able to like make it my own. Like it doesn't sound the same. So I love any of those songs, honestly. You know, from that's not from the Rumors era. I think it's Tango in the Night, Gypsy. But I love any of those songs. You know, Dreams, Silver Springs, Angel. So any of those like Stevie songs are kind of like my comfort level. I love to sing like the B-52s and yeah, just like kind of like any of those like 80s, 90s hits are big, you know, like you have to go with like the populist hits like in karaoke. You can't, you know, sing like the B-sides. You have to like really go for the songs that people like
Which,
recognize because
which I think is kind of a shame because, you know, just because it wasn't their biggest hit doesn't mean it's not a good song. But you're right. It's always like the one or two things that they're just known for. And everything else, nope, not going to be for like, so for like the B-52s is probably like Love Shack and Rock Lobster, but they did other things.
oh yeah. So my favorite B-52 song to sing is Rome. So that's yeah, another it's like their car commercial song or whatever. I feel like I've
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. I've heard that one a million times.
yeah.
That's gonna be
Um
stuck in my head all day now.
yep. But that's the thing, you gotta do those songs. Like it's just not the I don't know. I mean, obviously you can. I've definitely sang like more obscure songs in karaoke that I live or like within walking distance of a karaoke bar, a bar that does song. Well, they do karaoke. It's not a karaoke bar. It's like a little like hole in the wall Irish bar, but they do karaoke 3 nights a week. So I would go there and kind of not like practice, but the good thing about it is I feel like I can sing any song that I want to there, um, and not like be afraid of not sounding good. So I can sing, you know, whatever. And like so sometimes I'm definitely not in the mood to sing whatever, you know, a more um I'll sing like some obscure like Joni Mitchell songs or whatever, but generally like karaoke I have like my go-to ones that I know I can kind of crush. So uh,
And isn't like the formula for karaoke, the drunker everyone is, the better you sound?
I think so. I think that that is uh yeah, that's definitely the vibe. The karaoke bar that I go to, it is really unique. There's definitely like you know, it's like little homegrown crowd that shows up, and everyone's there to sing and do their song. And so like again, you can like turn heads and get people to like interact with you, but also like everyone is there to like just do their thing. So you know, they kind of have their own goals, which is fine, is great. So
Yeah. One thing I would like to see more of is karaoke rap bars. That could catch
mm,
on.
I think so. Yeah, definitely. There are people that do, you know, that do rap songs. I think that I mean, like when I say too, like it has its own homegrown crowd. Like it literally like runs the gamut of like there are people who will do, and I think also it's like the karaoke DJ. Like he is kind of like a wizard and does like he basically can like put on almost any song, which is great. Not every like places like that. Like there's no book, there's no whatever. Um, but people will do like metal songs and um I'll say yeah, it's I mean, I don't want to sound like a snob. Like it's not like cool. Like it's just like we'll do anything. And you know, like but that's what makes it so fun is that it just people get to sing the songs that they love and that
Hmm.
fun. So
All right. Let's now talk about the music video. This one was directed by Mary Lee Desmond at the Magic Room in Brighton, which everyone in Boston knows that place. Um,
mhm.
the visuals for this thing were so cool, whether it was like the props or the outfits. How did you go about creating this kind of look for the video?
Well, thank you. Yes, because we worked really hard and we had like lots of conversations about how we wanted the video to look. So basically, Mary and I traded like kind of ideas on like a Pinterest board for the video for like several months. When we just found like visuals that we liked, we'd post them on there. And then we went about like creating the looks together. A lot of the props were handmade by her. I'm not definitely as like crafty. Uh, I chose most of the outfits myself, for myself and like the band members. And then I think most of the clothes um were Mary's, that we had them wear. Um, and yeah, I just really like part of it was necessity. Like we had the I wanted it to be this like very kind of bright like cotton candy kind of palette, which I think is something we've talked about before. And so she did have those like the like backdrops that we used in the video for like the so matching things to that was like a part of the process. We have like the sky blue and the kind of like the pinkish reddish backdrop. So um kind of starting from there and working backwards was how we really like established it. But we both went like Goodwill shopping and picked up a lot of like old like vintage telephones that um were like at Goodwill and stuff like that. Uh, so we, again, just kind of like to make that phone aesthetic a part of the just like the DNA of the video. So a lot of collaboration, a lot of talking through it, and that was something I felt like, yeah, I um worked with this worked so well with this collaborator, is that we had a lot of discussion about it, but we also like had worked so well intuitively with each other before that it kind of was natural in some ways.
Mm, nice, nice. Yeah. It has a very natural feel to it because everything like going on there, the bands you worked with, everyone just seems like they're having fun. This does not seem like you're performing. You're just kind of doing things you would normally do.
Hmm. Yeah, well, my best friends are in the video, so like just like my again, people from my friend group were like the background actors. My friend Alison, my roommate uh Katie was our drummer, and our other really good friend Kara, who we've all been friends with for decades. So that was just that made everything so much more comfortable. Like it didn't feel like um we were like working. It just was we shot the video over a long weekend, so it wasn't a ton of time. We did, like I said, Mary and I had done a decent amount of prep work, you know, planning out the video and planning the shots and planning everything. And then um we did like 2 days with everybody, and then I think it was actually Columbus Day weekend or Indigenous Peoples Day weekend, which is where we are right now, recording this. So I think that we did the 3 days, and then it was like uh, 2 days with everyone, and then one day with just me. And then that was like how we got everything done. But it was so fun. It just was like this really fun experience. To do the video, everyone was so comfortable around each other. We just, you know, vibed out. I mean, it was like kind of like a big sleepover party. Like we just slept over, would get to work the next day, work throughout the day, shooting, and then hang out and have dinner, and then start again the next day. So it was very, very fun. No like drama, no crazy stories or anything like that. No disagreements for the most part. So it was great. And I think that like the kind of like atmosphere of our friendship and the relationship really shone through in the video. So
Definitely. Definitely. All right. All right. Well, Christopher, certainly a lot to come. You've got the EP SRS ONE set to release later this fall. But in the meantime, will we see more singles and music videos to come?
I think so. Definitely some live videos that are working on, and another single I hopefully will be putting out at the end of this month, or you know, maybe in about like a month's time. So at this time in November, there will be a new single on its way. Um,
Cool. Cool. All
yeah.
right. All right. Well, Christopher, really cool talking to you. I love the new single. The music video is so very cool. Folks, if you haven't already, check it out. But where do people go to learn more about you and check out the work?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram, only child music. Let me just double check. Only_child_music. And then, that has like a lot of the links that you can check me out on. Twitter is kind of a play on my name. So it's Owen Lee Child, which actually means only child. But it's Owen, like the name Lee Child, on Twitter. And yeah, those are the two. Instagram and Twitter are probably the best places to interact with me.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much for talking to me, and I'm definitely looking forward to talking again about the album to come.
Great. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course.
Hey, this is singer-songwriter and mental health advocate Stephanie Matthias. Be sure to check out my single Hero Side, available on all platforms now, and listen to Citywide Blackout, your home for the best indie artists.
And that brings this episode to a close. Big thanks to Only Child for joining me. I gotta say, I am loving the new single, Don't Call Me Baby, and I cannot wait for the new EP, SRS ONE, coming out later this fall. You can follow the show on Facebook under Citywide Blackout, and Twitter and Instagram under Citywide Max. Get at me at citywidemax@yahoo.com, and check the show out wherever you find your favorite podcasts, as well as every Saturday at 10 p.m. on Boston Free Radio. To close things out, enjoy the new single, and definitely get the EP when it drops later this fall. That's all for now, and I'll see you next time.
Don't call me, baby. Don't call me.